the Chiefs go to the Jaguars, and they start off hot. They get a lead before the Jaguars come storming back, and this game had some chaos moments. You get the pick play on the goal line that they throw the flag for, and then Mahomes runs up and is like, 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard. And so they wave off the flag, touchdown.
Crazy.
You get the Trevor Lawrence pick where the Chiefs player just does a good job boxing out the wide receiver. No pass interference called, so the Chiefs get the ball. You have the Trevor Lawrence play where he reaches for the goal line and gets knocked out. The Mahomes pass that's picked off in return for 99 yards. Trevor Lawrence falling over and then getting up and running in for a touchdown while Chris Jones stands there watching. Crazy stuff all around, but the Jaguars win 31-28. They're now 4-1. Liam Coen's done a fantastic job there, and the Chiefs are 2-3. Big takeaways from this game, guys?
I mean, it felt like classic Kansas City. The referees getting involved. It was crazy watching that game and feeling like the refs were actually just going to give it to them. The first one, we never saw like a pylon cam to like get the exact, like, was he beyond a yard? And so I don't hate the call. I hate how it was handled. The fact that Mahomes and Kelsey were in the referee's face telling him, we have 1 yard, and they pick it up. That bothers me. If you don't throw the flag, or if you throw it and then the referees huddle up and then they choose, someone else had better angle, which no one else did. I mean, he's standing on the sideline looking down the line of scrimmage. He has the best point of view. I don't hate the call because I couldn't see an exact camera angle to know, were they beyond a yard. I just hate the way it was managed. The missed pass interference was atrocious. Did you even mention the Trevor Lawrence, like, the way he fell over?
Picking his nose?
Yeah.
No, I mentioned
Did do that.
The Trevor Lawrence falling over and scoring a touchdown. The pick of the nose thing was crazy, though. Brody's eating his boogers on the sideline and then goes and leads a game-winning drive, like not a care in the world. I'm starting to question the height of Trevor Lawrence's IQ number in some ways, but he got the job done. So
You're just now starting to question it?
I think I'm questioning even more than I once was.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like the smartest tool in the shed out there at any point.
He his last 15 minutes of the game picked a booger on national TV, blew 40 seconds off the clock by running 25 yards to gain 3 yards with a minute 40 left, where he didn't throw it out of bounds for whatever reason. He hit probably the throw of his life to Brian Thomas Jr. on the sideline.
That was
on
crazy.
3rd and 7. They take a pointless delay of game, which he just he's trying to hard count, but
they took a lot of those.
Hard counting there is insane.
doesn't realize
There's 3 seconds.
there's 3 seconds on the play clock. I almost feel like maybe the play clock's in a bad spot because it's over there just on the bottom of the stands, and maybe there's like players and people in the way of it. Maybe I feel like it should be up high.
Agreed.
On the scoreboard. Took the pointless play of the game or delay of game. He threw a pick, but technically got bailed out on PI, which thank God they call that PI because I feel bad for the Falcons. That's exactly the same play that happened last year on Sunday Night Football with Kyle Pitts, where the defender literally is just not looking. It just goes to tackle Kyle Pitts, and there was no play or PI called. It was 4th and goal. Falcons turned it over. They didn't win the game. They made up for the call. It's not the same crew, but they made the right call this time.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas was clearly fouled. And then, yes, of course, the trip, get up, fall again, get up, and score. Just an incredible last 15 minutes for the Jaguars. And I think the first thing, of course, people are going to say, like you said, Sanders, the first thing you said was penalties. Kansas City had 13 penalties for 109 yards. The Jaguars had 4 for 25. And I actually don't mind the way they officiated. Actually, I hate the way it went down with the pick play. But I'm going to trust that Kansas City knows what they're doing there. They did it 1 yard down the field.
Yeah.
And that if the flag was not thrown, then it would not have been a big deal. It just would have been a touchdown. There would have been complaints about it, but we would have got the same explanation.
As someone that grew up playing soccer too, like pleading to the refs is like so much part of the game of like running up. And the MLS has debuted a ref cam, which is really funny because you'll get shots of players just like looking up into it, being like, "Please, please."
And also,
that's just good.
like if the ref isn't confident enough in his call that he's gonna be like, I don't know, influenced.
Well, I think in that situation, it's like he's watching, and then he sees them run into each other, and it's just an immediate, like,
Yeah.
without really initially thinking about the fact that it maybe wasn't 1 yard down the field. And then when he sits and thinks about it, he's like, oh, yeah, wait, that was, like, legal.
I think that's probably what happened as well. But I think the average Kansas City fan is going to try and respin it to say that, oh, well, we were actually flagged 13 times. Like, it was refs against the Chiefs.
Don't hold on every punt
yeah,
return.
Don't hold on every punt and kick return.
Don't kick it out of bounds.
Don't kick it out of bounds. Don't literally tackle guys for pass interference calls. They did something they don't normally do, and it's been kind of a story of a few of their losses, just some bonehead plays that don't make sense. The mojo is just really weird. Chris Jones not even trying on the game-winning play is super weird. He has 4 tackles this season. Jamar Chase has 5.
Oh, okay. I was looking at PFF. He has 6 on PFF, so I guess ESPN might have it recorded
According to
differently.
StatMuse.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw the
StatMuse we
tweet going
trust.
viral, and so that's why I like double checked it on PFF. I'm gonna
6
pull it
and
up.
5 is really bad as well.
Yes.
But it does sound better to say Jamar Chase has more than Chris Jones.
And the Mahomes interception for Devin Lloyd, which he now has the league lead in interceptions with 4, he got baited.
They simulated pressure and then
He
dropped
got
out of it.
he,
Yeah.
That's not something one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time loses to, where they show cover 0 across the front and they drop out of it, and he, for whatever reason, does not recognize that, and he just throws it to Devin Lloyd, who dropped out of it. He just thinks it's wide open. He clearly thinks it's wide open because he's not trying to zip the ball in there with all his might and get it past Devin. He doesn't throw it high to get over top of Devin. He just throws it like his receiver is wide open, and he got baited. And then he misses a tackle to potentially stop Devin, and Devin goes all the way down the sideline in a huge moment and scores a touchdown. I don't think this is a great team right now. This is a good team. They've shown flashes of the old Kansas City Chiefs, but I mean, it's a bad. Tim Duncan in his last 1 to 2 years showed flashes of old Tim Duncan, but that doesn't mean he's Tim Duncan of when he won championships. I was going to say LeBron, but LeBron is still one of the greatest players on the planet. He just not playing LeBron level, but this is just not a great team. This is a good football team. They were undisciplined, committed bonehead penalties, and it's really a shame because they were lighting up the Jaguars. The Jaguars, coming into the game, played zone coverage 80% of the time. Played zone coverage last night 75% of the time. Mahomes faced it 34 times. He was 27 of 32 for 311 yards against zone coverage. So he was just picking them apart. You had a 14-0 lead, and yet you still kind of give this game away on the road. You still can't get anything in the ground game. It's just it's sad to see. But I'm happy because I picked Jacksonville. I thought they would be competitive in this game, and they ended up winning this game. I'm really happy for Trevor because if he loses this game, if he falls down and gets tackled and someone touches him, there's 23 seconds left. It's a mad dash to get back lined up. They probably run 1 or 2 more plays, and they may not score. Nothing is guaranteed. They had no timeouts. And then you come into national TV, or not national TV, but sports TV and sports media today, and he's getting ripped to shreds. He's a bust. He's the worst number 1 overall pick ever. Stuff like that. It's crazy how much that's going to be completely flipped because he was able to pull off that game-winning drive. For me, it's like we mentioned at the top, it's still incredible that it even happened, given everything that happened in those last 15 minutes or so for Trevor. It's truly it's kind of remarkable that was even pulled off,
It
to be
makes
honest.
0 sense.
With Brian Thomas being a huge part of it too, with how things have gone so far this season. But what a win for Liam Coen and the Jaguars that moves them to 4-1. A big thing he talked about today, he was on the Pat McAfee show, is like it's a huge win for us, but we kind of went into that game not caring about the other logo on the other side of the field. And he said because of that, it felt like it helped them a ton, playing with a ton of confidence. And even when they got down in a 14-0 hole at home on prime time, they were able to fight back. That was a big Chiefs crowd, too. There were a lot of red in that stands. And the Chiefs fans traveled really well, which, of course, they're going to because they're all bandwagons for the most part. But that's a huge win for Jacksonville going forward. That ties them with the Colts at the division lead at 4-1. And this is the kind of game that they had been losing the past 2 years, which is why they've missed the playoffs the past 2 years. So huge for Jacksonville. And now I think concerned for Kansas City. I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think they're winning this weekend against the Lions on Sunday Night Football.
Sure.
I do not get how they are favored in that game, which is also
They're favored by 2.5 right now.
favored by 2.5 against the Lions after
So
not
neutral
being
field pick 'em?
favored. Neutral field pick 'em after
Yeah.
not being favored against the Ravens or the Eagles. It doesn't
Sure.
make sense to me
Lions
with the way the
disrespect.
Lions are playing, and that's foreshadowing to another segment of this show at some point.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. It's so sloppy from Kansas City recently. The only other thing I had in my notes that hasn't been touched on is maybe a bit of a turnaround game for the Jaguars receiving core. You hit the
Travis Hunter.
jump ball to Travis Hunter that he comes down with because you probably should just get him more targets
I'm
in general.
glad you brought that up.
And you get him involved underneath some too on some slants and let him try and create after the catch, and he did so a couple times. Then Brian Thomas makes a huge catch down the sidelines on the great throw by Trevor Lawrence and had a couple other big catches. And that's more of what we expected to see coming into the season is those guys making plays for Trevor. So it was good to see that last night.
Yeah, I was actually literally, I was about to bring up Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter finishes with a couple first downs. He finishes with confidence. He finishes 3 receptions, 64 yards. I think the first one was that one on the sideline where he kind of gets tackled out of bounds and comes up and does the big celebration. Very I don't know. He just had a little bit of swagger and then has that big catch. And watching it, I was like, "Yep, JP made the primetime prediction.
Yep.
Travis Hunter under the lights." And that's not offensively. He plays well. Like I said, getting those 64 yards. He played 39 snaps on offense and
25
25 snaps on defense and finished with PFF grades in the 70s on both sides of the ball. So has a really good night, which shout out to you for predicting that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It felt necessary. It just felt like this was a huge moment for Jacksonville to prove why they picked him with a second overall pick, why they traded a first-round pick for Travis Hunter. He only played, what's that? That's 64 snaps?
25 and 30 something.
25 and 39, 64 snaps the entire game, so not even close to his most snap count of the, week 2 and 3, he played 70+. But he was incredible. Offensively, he made big plays. Of course, the big catch. He has the catch that was 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, and then he makes 2 guys miss 1-on-2, picks up a first down.
That was crazy.
He has the big moment early in the game against Travis Kelce where he kind of technically fouled him. I don't know. It's a tough call, but it hits Travis Kelce in the hands,
Yeah.
and he drops it on 3rd down, and the Chiefs are forced to punt. So I thought it was a huge opportunity for them, and they took advantage of it, and Travis took advantage of it. And now, that's the Jaguars' only primetime game, I think, this entire year. And now people at least know that, because no one really is going to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars games, unless going forward they're 8-1, 9-1, they're one of those teams. It at least solidifies to people that, Travis Hunter is here, Travis Hunter's playing well, and he's playing well for this team, and it helps. It's going to help going forward with their fan base. It's a huge part of being able to fill the stands going forward, which is massive. Duval can be a home field advantage to some degree for them. But it's a huge night for Travis. And obviously I'm happy because I predicted it and it happened. So shout out to him. Shout out to 12.
He finished tied for most snaps on the team. Most snaps by any offensive player. I mean, not like with his 36, but like total.
Yeah.
And there were some defensive players that played 64. So he finished tied for most snaps played, which is a huge step up from the snaps he'd been playing.
Especially week 4 and week 1 he barely played. And this was it was questionable, but he makes some big plays in this game, and Brian Thomas makes big plays in this game, and going forward Jacksonville is going to be good, apparently 3-0 at home. They host Seattle next week. That's going to be a huge game. It's a huge game for Seattle. Seattle has to fly all the way across the country and play a noon kickoff or a 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff. So that plays a huge factor into it.
Is that a 10 o'clock body time?
10 o'clock body time. And it's literally it's the third longest flight possible from Seattle to Jacksonville. The next two are Seattle to Tampa Bay and Seattle to Miami. So a long flight for Seattle after a heartbreaking loss, foreshadowing potentially to a pick I would make as much as I love Seattle. But a huge win for Jacksonville. This 4-1 and 3-2 makes such a big difference. I feel this in fantasy football with my teams, and I don't know why, but for whatever reason, early on in the season, those first 6 weeks or so, the difference between 4-1 and 3-2, 2-3 and 1-4, just feel massive. And for Jacksonville, it feels massive for them going forward to have that win and be in that spot, because you don't want to be like the Ravens are about to be in a tough spot at 1-5, and it's because they let the Buffalo game go. This win helps them going down the road. If they are going to have some surprising losses, well, they've got this win against Kansas City. It could also help them if they were to win the division.